Hi everyone, I welcome you back to this channel Technical Drawing Masterclass. So today we are going to look at the construction of an isometric circle. So it's from this figure that we have right here. We have a square whose dimensions are 60 by 60 and inside it there is a circle. So first we are going to draw an isometric cube. So first draw a horizontal line of any length. Then at its midpoint, I'll draw a line whose length is 60. Then I'll put this line at an angle of 30 from the horizontal. So I'll press the tab key at the keyboard. Then I feed in 30. Then also there I've put in 60. Now tilt that line with a length of 60 but at an angle of 150. Then I'll close up here at our first point. Then I'll press escape. Then from the same point, I'll draw another line whose length is 60. I'll press the tab key. I'll feed in 150 as my angle. Then I'll raise perpendicular whose length is 60. Press enter. Then I join up to that point. Then next, from this point, I'll draw a line whose length is 60 but at an angle of 30. Then I'll join up to that point. Then I press escape on my keyboard. Then after that, I'll draw that line. Then I'll join this point to that point. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll join this point to that point and also that other point, this point. Now I'll join this point to that point, join that point to that point. Then I'll activate my layer 4 isometric circle. I click at the circle command. Then at this point, I'll draw a circle. Then I'll trim it. Here I'll highlight that portion and I delete it. Then I'll do the same thing right here. Okay. And from this point, I'll draw a circle whose radius is equal to the length of that line. And I'll trim off this. And I'll highlight this portion. I delete it. I'll put my cursor at this point. Then I draw a circle whose radius is the length of this line here. and I'll trim off this and that, and I highlight this portion and delete it. So I'm going to repeat the same procedures for this face and this face. So first I'll draw that line that is in the middle of these two lines. And I'll also draw that other line. Then I'll join this point to that point. Then I'll join this point to that point. Then I'll activate my layer 4 isometric circle. Then from this point where these two lines intersect, I'll put my cursor there. Then I draw a circle. Then I'll trim off this and that. Then I delete that one. Then I trim off that part and this. I highlight that part. Then I delete that portion. And from this point, I draw a circle. I delete that part and also that part. I highlight that portion. I delete it. Then from this point, I draw a circle whose radius is equal to the length of this line. And I'll delete that portion, also that portion. Then I highlight that part of the circle and I delete it. So we are left with only this face of the cube. So I'll activate my layer 4 projection lines. So I join this midpoint, that midpoint. Then I also join this midpoint, that midpoint. Then I join this point, that point. Then also this other point, that point. Then I'll connect this point to that point. Then also I'll connect this point to that point there. So I'll activate my layer 4 as a metric circle. I'll click at the circle command. At this point, I draw a circle whose radius is equal to the length from this point up to this point. So I'll trim off that part and that part. Then I highlight that part, I delete it. I'll do the same thing here. I trim off that part and that part. Then highlight that part. I delete it. Then next, from this point, I'll draw a circle whose radius is equal to the length of this line. Then After that, I'll trim off just two parts. Then I highlight this remaining part of the circle and delete it. So I'll click at the circle command, put my cursor at that point, then I draw a circle whose radius is equal to the length of this line here. I click, then I trim off that part and that part. Then I highlight that part, I delete it. So this is a simple way of representing isometric circles. So thanks for watching, and I hope this video has been of helpful to you. Please, you can support this channel by subscribing, liking and commenting. Thanks for watching. We'll meet next time.